a beautiful day here in Cleveland. It's November and it's very comfortable and I'm outside, and I'm very happy about that. I want to talk about something that I'm exploring, so I don't, as I'm speaking, I'm figuring things out, and I'm working through these things. I have a decent idea on some of these things, but I think on some level it is definitely massively complicated, but also massively important. So if you've been watching my channel, a lot of the videos revolve around meditation, non-duality, consciousness, things like this. And then what my attempt is the most practical implication of living the consequences of I even hesitate to call it the philosophy of non-duality, but living the implications included with living in accordance to the principles of non-duality. Something like that. And something happened today. Pretty incredible. Yesterday, I lost my wallet. And for the past 24 hours, I was looking all over the place for my wallet. And I found it. I found it just about an hour or so ago. And it's incredible because it was in this bag that I looked through 5 times, but there was a zipped compartment that I thought I had unzipped, and voila, wallet. Very happy for Christopher. I was very happy, very elated when I found my wallet, because I was thinking about calling the credit card companies and the debit, getting all the new stuff, and there was some cash there. So really, really grateful to have found it. So loss, I'm bringing up the idea of loss and gain. And that, as far as I have experienced in my life, loss is the fuel for suffering. And in a way, so is gain, because it's like the other. Well, when I have this, or when I am included, or when things are going well, when I'm in a relationship, when there's an abundance of things, the gain, then I'm happy. But then when I lose my wallet, or when I'm not included, or when somebody does something wrong to me or unjust to me, then the sense of loss or lack is felt. And these are all things, as you've heard me say if you've watched previous videos, for the apparent person, for me, the character of me in my life, for you, the character of you in your life. All these things are happening to you. You have a front row seat of every traumatic thing that has ever happened to you, and every beautiful, wonderful thing that has ever happened to you, and everything in between. The amount of which we're conscious of those things because of some of those traumas that turn us off in a way, or check us out, that's another question. But the point is you are the center of your experience. I am the center of my experience. And what I point to with this is that at first, with meditation, contemplation techniques, plant medicines, a lot of these different philosophies from all over the world, from even Buddhism, but certainly Advaita Vedanta, there's a rejection at first of the mind and body, where it is said, I am not my mind and my body. And why? Why would anyone say I am not my mind and body, right? It seems pretty it can seem pretty obvious to you, to me, that we are this apparent mind and body. And actually, that's the funny part, is we are, but not exclusively. And it's the same reason why any other religion pursues genuinely the essence of an afterlife, or the soul existing, or, where are all our dead family and friends? Where are they? Where are they now? Well, it feels really good to put our trust in the idea that they're formlessness, and they're still here, just not in the way that we knew them when they appeared to be in their mind and their body, right? So the soul, or spirit, whatever we want to call that. Let's think about it like this. First, we reject those things to see that we are more than just our mind and our body. We're not exclusively our mind and our body. And if you've had experiences with really deep meditation, or any meditation, if you've had the experience, you've had the experience of knowing something like this: holy shit, I am much more than I thought I was. I am not only my mind and my body. And that is, I don't have words. I've attempted to put that into words over the past few years, but it's objectless, because there's an awareness that the mind and the body appear, but you, me, everything, the experience is, I am everything. I am everything, and I am nothing, and I'm nothing that can be objectively pointed to. Exclusively, because the reality of it is what I just said, which is we are everything and we are nothing, including all of the appearances. So it turns out that I actually am my mind and my body, but I'm not only my mind and my body. I'm everything. I'm infinite. I didn't have a beginning, and I won't have an end. So there goes the illusion of death, the illusion of loss. And this, if it's just heard at the conceptual level, well, on some level, it has helped me. It has helped me to get. I think it's helped me. Looking back at all the readings I've done, the studying that I've done, the meditations that I've done, constantly. It's really hard to say. But there's something helpful feeling about it. God, it's really hard for me to say that, because I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I would have arrived at this. It's like the placebo effect, It's like did my looking for evidence of the soul, of a reality beyond this material realm, did my looking for it influence the experiences that I was having? And was I just looking for what I wanted to see? And so is that my brain doing this thing? My experience that is beyond an experience tells me otherwise. And I just enjoy this. This is exactly what I enjoy talking about, and what I enjoy sharing. And so, before I get too far, on Saturdays, every Saturday at 11:11, I think the Zoom's technically set for 11:10 a.m., but at 11:11 a.m. EST, we have kind of like a dialogue, a meditation. I'll talk a little bit, and then we can talk about what it means to integrate that which is already integrated and that which we already are. So if you want to do that, it's on my bio on Instagram, and I think I can link up. I could just put the link in the description to this video too. And then we could have there could be a response, and we could talk and have a sort of resonance in that way. But this is what I want to get to, talking about this, is here, I'll show you this book, this wonderful book, Healing Collective Trauma by Thomas Hubble. My friend, my dear brother, Grant, recommended this to me when myself, Grant, Zlodka, that's my partner, and two other incredible human beings, Andrew and Jessica, we facilitated a sacred mushrooms, and it's psilocybin mushrooms. That's the hallucinogenic, the medicine, plant medicine, mushroom retreat in Mexico. And at that retreat, why am I telling you about the retreat? That's right. Okay. Grant suggested this book because basically he was bringing up the fact that this indigenous Zapoteca family that we had our ceremony, our retreat with, that supported us in facilitating it, they're like trauma release experts. And that's what brings me to this point. And this is why I brought up me losing my wallet and then this book. So here's the thing. Based on our experiences, based on the traumas that we endure, I mean, I literally moments ago just got done reading about lynchings in America, in this country, and then I just got done reading the story about Rodney King, a very, very descriptive account of what had happened. And that's stuff like this is happening. You know, it is still happening all over the world in all sorts of ways to all different types of people. There's no one that I know of has been excluded from human suffering, hasn't endured some amount of human suffering. And so although all these things that I'm pointing to, that could be the fundamental nature of reality, that we are essentially all one and part of this whole unity thing. If that's not experienced because of trauma, because of intergenerational trauma that's passed down, well, we're going to feel separate, and we're going to feel that sensation of loss and that sensation of suffering, and really feeling like we're not all one. Like there are absolutely other people, forces as well, hurricanes, catastrophes, but definitely other people that are separate from me, and they better stay away from me, and I better stay away from them, or whatever it is. But this is the effect of suffering, of buying into this illusion of separation. So why does it even matter? Like, why am I saying this? And it might be true, and it might be, oh well, great. Well, here's the thing. That which I'm speaking to is our direct experience. And I've had trauma. I've had things in my life that can appear to make it more challenging to understand this. And when I say understand, I mean feel it, to resonate with it, to know deeply that we are one. And so what does it require? It in a way could require right now seeing, observing whatever it is in your experience that is aware of your experience. Whatever it is that is aware of my voice, what you may see is that you are what you are, is that which is aware of my voice, but you're not exclusively your eardrum or your brain or your body that's hearing it. You are that which is aware of all of that. And by the very nature that you are aware of your body, of your mind, of your appearance, of my appearance, of everything that's appearing to you, by your direct experience right now, by the most intimately obvious test, if I could call it a test, it reveals that there is not really any separation. But the separation is felt, is experienced when there is trauma, when there is some sort of loss presented, sometimes, not, I don't want to say all the time, but when there is something that happens to this is temporary, my body will not be here forever, in this form, right? That will happen, that will come to pass. But when we see intimately and we experience intimately right now that this is not, and that's not a meditation. It's not like it's not even a hypnosis thing, it's just clearly seeing. And for me, it's helped to do that again and again, and to explore this and to figure out what is the root of this suffering thing, because I don't want to suffer. I don't want to be endlessly suffering. I want to be endlessly happy and joyful and sharing that which has apparently helped that come to an end. So it's not a magic trick, there's not a doctrine. I point to non-duality sometimes, but I'm bringing up the trauma thing and then the non-duality thing because sometimes these two things can be seen as two different worlds, but they're distinctly the same world. The feeling of separation is derived out of loss, and that creates apparent suffering that feels very, very like that's really who I am, or that's really what I am. And what I'm pointing to is, in a way, whatever, and the readiness is the readiness. Someone knows whatever it is that they've experienced, if they're ready. Maybe it's just observing it for a moment. Maybe it's engaging in a meditation practice. Maybe it's going for a walk. The actual thing about what I'm referring to is there's no one thing to do, because it's not a thing to do to recognize already which is. Because you're already that, and I'm already that, and there's not a moment where I'm gonna liberate myself from all of my pain and my suffering. So what could I possibly mean if I'm saying there's not a moment? What I mean, it's not a moment because that already is the truth of our being, of everyone's being. And that's not to say from time to time I buy into, I really, these emotions will overtake me, or I'll lose my wallet, or something worse will happen and I'll be very identified because of the fight or flight response with this mechanism, this mind-body mechanism. And then the nervous system doesn't know that it's consciousness, doesn't know that it's non-dual, all-abiding awareness. It will take those traumas, whatever they are. I'm not saying me losing my wallet is a trauma, but it will take whatever sense of loss is and will sometimes create a patterning in the brain to attempt to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And so there can be an over-identification with being that brain function that's just attempting to protect the mind-body. And this is exactly what it means when somebody underwent some trauma when they were younger, and then they're playing that behavior or pattern out with their other loved ones, and then their loved ones, or whoever they're with, whoever they're interacting with, they're playing out their own thing, and then it's like this cycle. And what is the way out of the cycle is to realize that you're not actually in the cycle. And this is not discrediting therapy. This is not discrediting, actually a bunch of therapists work with this book, the Healing the Collective Trauma book. This is integral and part of it. And one of the things that I've seen that's missing is the conversation around integrating and I hesitate again to use the word integration, because this is that which is already integrated. Integrating, so we'll just say that, so to speak, integrating trauma experiences into the non-dual truth of our one shared being. And something like the year is the story, the words, the actions, the behaviors of you and your life, of me and my life. That's the story, that's the appearance. And what's being pointed to is that which is aware of the experience. and that always is, and that's not an object. That's just what is. And then we come to see that it includes the object. And this brings me back to my final point that I want to touch on here, which is it's not an experience. This, after much searching for an experience, I've realized many times that it's not an experience, and it's not objective. So it's not going to happen to me in this story, and it's not going to happen to you. And that can sound, it is hopeless. It's hopeless for the very reason that we are already overflowing with hope. We are already, and I do say that even to me in my most traumatized state, whenever that appearance was. It's just this gentle, loving, motherly, fatherly essence of everything actually is okay, and you're not going to hurt yourself anymore, and I'm not going to hurt you anymore, and there's no hurt, there's no separateness. So it's not an experience because it's just a recognition or a remembering of what already is. It's seeing clearly, and it's something like this. It's not a moment, because it's not a moment. However, there have been, how do I say this? No moments that have occurred, not to me, but for sake of talking about this, I'll share this. It's somewhat valuable. I would sit down and I would maybe be expecting something to happen in a meditation, that I'd realize this happened a couple weeks ago, actually, or it didn't happen a couple weeks ago. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed. Nothing hadn't been more than a minute or two. And actually, I said there was a clock ticking in the background, which normally it's completely, for the most part, silent when I'm sitting, unless I'm out in nature. But if I'm inside, it's normally quiet. But in this instance, there was a clock ticking in the background. And as it's ticking, I say to myself, I'm just a goofy experiment. I say, I'm going to count every second. For as long as I sit here, I'm going to count every second of this clock. And I counted the first minute. I was like, 1, 2, because you could hear the clock. And after the first minute, I was like, no way I'm doing that. That'll be very boring. And I was doing the thing where it's like, I'm not expecting something, but I'm kind of expecting something. Business that us meditators in the spiritual realm have done many times. I'm like, okay, I'm not expecting it, so it's going to happen. But there wasn't even that. That actually wasn't there. I was just like, well, I'm going to sit down and practice. And I'm looking at the backs of my eyes sitting there after I decided not to count this clock, every second of the clock, and I go, well, nothing's happening. This is very similar to another moment where nothing was happening to no one. Oh my goodness, this is the same thing. This is the same. There's actually not a difference, and nothing's happening. I opened my eyes, I looked around, I'm like, nothing's happening. So we have this idea that there's this identity that's going to get healed, that's going to be forever happy and in peace, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to the character, because the character is in the story. What we're talking about is that which is watching the story, and that is what you are now, and that is what I am now, and that is what we that is our fundamental nature. And within that, there is the appearance of Christopher, who was born at a certain time, at a certain day, you, when you were born, and all of those things still are there, and there's the awareness. And so we come to find that the awareness and everything that arises within awareness, like you, like me, like the appearance of you, like the appearance of me, like this tree, like the background, I don't know if you can hear that or not. There's a lawnmower, it sounds like, going. These all arise, but they're all the same thing. And the science even proves this now too, like there's nothing separate in the universe. It's just this human psyche that, for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason is, it wants to battle itself. It wants to, I think, and partly it wants to, this is a far-reaching statement. I'm going to be careful with how I say this. it wants to beat itself out of existence, because that it thinks it is not exclusively what it is. It is far greater than that. It is that which I am pointing to. Like the tree. Is this tree wondering if it's being politically correct? Is this tree wondering if it's saying the right thing? Is this tree wondering if its branches are... No, it's just being the tree, like the sun. It just and we are part of nature. Yes, we're humans, and we're more... Are we more advanced? Maybe if we were more advanced, we'd see, we'd realize, we'd understand, we'd be able to connect with ourself in all of our forms, in each other, and come into a truly peaceful, loving resonance with each other. Maybe, if that can that happen? If that happens, again, here's where this gets very tricky. That all happens within the story. But this pointing, at least in my life, has, in part, been something that has supported me in understanding that I am my mind and my body, and I'm everything else, and nothing. Just, it takes a momentless moment of presence. All right, that is more than enough. If there's any questions or comments about anything that I said, I kind of went off on a few tangents, but if there's some of these things that you're working through, or you're considering, or seeing how this applies to you, or how to integrate it, even again, as I've said, it's already our nature. I would love to have a discussion with you. If you wanted to put that in the comments, you're free to comment here on YouTube. And if you want to have a live dialogue on, like I said, Saturdays at 11:11 Eastern time, that link is found in my Instagram bio. There's a link tree. There's a link for the Zoom meeting, and then that's donation based. So there's also a link to make a donation if you would like to do that. All right, well, I'm going to continue to enjoy this beautiful day here and bask in the happiness of having found my wallet. Let me know in the comments what you thought. All right. See you later.